Am I the only one that didn't know Roman emperors had some of the weirdest quirks? We're talking about the leaders of the most powerful empire the world had ever seen. But they also had some pretty weird quirks, let's just say. What's something people don't know about Augustus Caesar? Our first stop on this emperor-ific journey takes us to the reign of Augustus Caesar, the big cheese himself. Augustus, even though he was a total badass who basically invented the Roman Empire, was a little insecure. So what's an emperor to do? Stage a fainting spell, of course. Augustus, the emperor who had everything, would pretend to pass out in public. Am I the only one that didn't know Tiberius, Augustus's stepson? And let's just say they didn't share a fashion consultant? While Augustus was all about the public appearances, Tiberius was more of a leave me alone with my thoughts kind of guy. He ditched the hustle and bustle of Rome for the much quieter and significantly warmer Isle of Capri. And unwind Tiberius did by, you guessed it, skinny dipping. That's right, the Emperor of Rome, the ruler of the known world, liked to take his dips in the Mediterranean au naturel.
The water was just so liberating.
I bet you didn't know this about Roman emperors. Hold on to your togas, folks, because things are about to get weird. Meet Caligula, the emperor who took loving horses to a whole new level. We're not talking about collecting fancy chariots or anything like that. We're talking about appointing his favorite horse, Incitatus, as a senator. Now, historians still debate whether Caligula was serious, a little kooky, or just really loved his horse. Some say he was making a point about the absurdity of Roman politics.
Incitatus had the best ideas, even if he couldn't exactly voice them.
You need to hear this if you're a history buff. After the roller coaster that was Caligula's reign, Rome was ready for something a little more, well, normal. Enter Claudius, Caligula's uncle, who, despite a few nervous tics and a bit of a stutter, was considered a pretty chill dude.
But I had a secret passion: history. I wasn't just a casual history buff, though. I was a full-blown history nerd.
He loved reading about ancient civilizations, collecting scrolls, and writing. Claudius proves that even emperors can have geeky hobbies, and that sometimes the quietest voices have the most interesting stories to tell. I bet you didn't know this about Nero. Nero, the emperor synonymous with bad leadership, infamous for his alleged role in the Great Fire of Rome. Did he actually fiddle while Rome burned? The historical jury's still out.
I was really into the arts, music, poetry, and theater.
Some thought an emperor shouldn't sing and dance in public, but Nero didn't care. What's something people don't know about Roman Emperor Vespasian? After Nero's dramatic exit, Vespasian, a no-nonsense kind of guy, took over. Vespasian was all about practicality. The empire needed money after a certain fiery incident, so Vespasian got creative. His solution? Taxing public toilets. Yes, you heard that right. The Emperor of Rome decided to tax pee. And you know what? It worked. The tax, known as pecunia non olet, money doesn't stink, was surprisingly lucrative. Vespasian proved that even the most mundane things can be profitable if you're creative enough. I bet you didn't know that one of Rome's most beloved emperors had a secret passion. Titus, Vespasian's son, was known as a pretty stand-up guy. He ruled with compassion, completed the Colosseum, and even helped rebuild Rome after a volcanic eruption. But Titus had a secret. He was a huge fan of gladiatorial combat. Rumor has it that Titus actually participated in the games himself. Now, we're not sure if he ever went full-on gladiator, but apparently he enjoyed a good sword fight. Hey, nobody's perfect, right? I bet you didn't know Domitian, Titus's younger brother, was a poet. Domitian was, to put it mildly, a bit intense. He was paranoid, power-hungry, and really didn't like it when people disagreed with him. But Domitian also had a surprisingly sensitive side. He wrote poetry. That's right. The emperor, who was known for his suspicious nature and love of all things extravagant, was a closet poet at heart. We don't know what kind of poetry he wrote, sadly, but it's fun to imagine him pouring his anxieties and frustrations onto parchment. You need to hear this if you're a history buff. So there you have it. Roman emperors were way more interesting than history books make them seem. They ruled with an iron fist, but had bizarre hobbies. From fainting to skinny dipping, they kept things interesting. Behind those busts were real people with weird quirks. Well, maybe not just like us. Want to learn more? Can we ask you to help subscribe to @Enchant Minds?